Actor Paul Wesley, who plays James Kirk in Strange New Worlds Season 3, channeled another of his contemporaries in his second appearance. This time, Chris Pine's more unsure Kirk from Star Trek Beyond was the target, not William Shatner's satirical performance. Wesley's Kirk longed for a dilemma like that, but that character struggled because the responsibility of command was placed on him too soon. Strange New Worlds allowed viewers to witness Captain Kirk in action without violating Star Trek canon in The Zealot Who Ate Its Tail. The events of Strange New Worlds occur between the original series and the expedition described in The Menagerie, an episode that reused the first unsuccessful Star Trek pilot. Cadet Nyota Uhura, Nurse Christine Chapel, Dr. Joseph Mbenga, Spock, and most recently Scotty were among the legacy characters that the show introduced to the cast. They may be unfinished versions of the characters and predate Kirk's command because their time on the Enterprise is not clearly established. There are valid concerns regarding the frequency of Pike and Kirk's meetings given Star Trek canon. Kirk discusses taking command of the Enterprise and claims to have met Pike after he was promoted to fleet captain in The Menagerie. What Shatner's Kirk says may have been initially inferred as a single encounter, but it doesn't specifically forbid Wesley's Kirk from seeing him more than once. Indeed, Kirk's use of the pronoun Chris to refer to Pike in that episode may also suggest a deeper level of acquaintance. Wesley plays a character that is not Jim Kirk from the Prime Universe in nearly half of the episodes in which he appears. The time frame of Strange New Worlds is the same as that of TOS. But even as a younger man, Wesley is perhaps most effective when he is portraying the real Kirk. The Season 3 teaser suggests an adventure with Scotty, and he had a fantastic collaboration with Uhura. Therefore, he and Pike aren't precisely partnered to lead an episode. However, Strange New Worlds doesn't make a conscious effort to separate them. Although they are familiar and amicable, the former and current captains are not particularly close. Narratively, his interactions with the other Enterprise crew members make greater sense. Perhaps he selects them for his crew because of the relationships he builds with them prior to taking command. In this episode, all of Kirk's prospective crew members, aside from Dr. Mbenga, join him aboard the USS Farragut due to the terrible alien menace that almost destroys it. Strange New Worlds came up with the ideal scenario to bring these TOS characters together on the starship's bridge due to injuries sustained by the ship's senior officers. However, he isn't and shouldn't be the leader that people are used to. Jim Kirk was born for command throughout all of this character's incarnations, including comic books and novels. It comes naturally to him. Unlike Pike or Jean-Luc Picard, he relies more on his own conviction and doesn't consider the crew's opinions. However, he occasionally overreacts or is unsure of what to do, at which point his friends and crew bring him back from the edge. Part of the reason for everything from Spock's insight to Scotty's engineering miracles is that Kirk has faith in them and they don't want to disappoint him. Captain Kirk's ego appears to be more than it needs to be in certain episodes and even movies. This is put into perspective by The Zealot Who Ate Its Tail, which exposes Kirk's fears. He may be conceited in the future, but that's because he believes in himself. But when he finds out that the scavenger spacecraft was inhabited by the descendants of a long-lost crew of human space explorers, he also learns a harsh lesson about consequences. The crew divulges information at a pivotal point in the show that implies the crippled USS Farragut is unable to save the Enterprise or halt the scavengers. Kirk withdraws to the prep room after experiencing a crisis of faith. Kirk was portrayed in Strange New Worlds as a brilliant chess player up until this point, but this episode shows that he consistently loses to his captain. Spock, assisted by Uhura, encourages Kirk to be his own captain as he tries to find out what she would do. He succeeds by asking the correct questions, having faith in his people, and coming up with some pretty unconventional solutions. Even if his position didn't call for it, James T. Kirk is the type of person whose commands the crew would obey. Their adoration makes sense even if they only ever seen him at his finest. Fans were shown, however, that Spock, Uhura, Scotty, and Chapel seen him at his worst in Strange New Worlds. Nevertheless, he vanquished an opponent who seemed invincible and saved the Enterprise. The crew's implicit trust in Captain Kirk is better explained by pulling this off when he falters.